And with that, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to NFL. Of course, please like and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoy. We have the Ravens 2023 Rascals. Of course, I wouldn't say it's a new team, but it's a little bit rebuilt. Obviously, they have a pretty similar defense, which will be cool to see. Usually a really good roster. It'll be fun to go through them. Ravens 2023 roster grades. Here we go. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to NFL. Of course, please like and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed the Baltimore Ravens 2023 roster grades. Of course, this team did a lot in the offseason to get better. Of course, we'll see how that ends up making the roster grade. They did lose some guys, obviously, though. But they should be a little more healthy than they obviously have been in the past. And again, getting Todd Monken as the offensive coordinator will definitely boost their passing game as a whole. Again, every single level for every single grade is worth whatever it is, because my important opinion, the team identity and the quarterback position are the two most important parts of the teams. So that's basically what'll get weighed the most for every level. So you get a D and you get an A. There's a pretty big difference between those two. So yeah, let's get right into it with Lamar Jackson in this quarterback room. Alright, guys, when you look at Lamar Jackson and this Ravens quarterback room, I'm honestly going to start from the bottom with Anthony Brown, who of course got that one start against the Bengals last year. He played in a couple games. I mean, throwing the football, he was as expected, because if you watched him play at Oregon, very underwhelming thrower of the football, but he can run a little, which he didn't really show much of that at all last year. But I will be honest, he did make some throws that I really didn't expect him to make. Anthony Brown, honestly, is not a terrible quarterback for the system, but he's pretty darn average, not very impressive. At least for a backup. Josh Johnson, he's whatever. Of course, he's been, what is he, like 37? He's been on basically every single team. He's the literal definition of the journeyman. He's played in like 6 leagues on like 20 different teams. He's been okay in some spots. Again, he played for the 49ers before he got hurt last year. Complete disaster, but he is, yeah, just the definition of a journeyman, obviously. Tyler Huntley, again, he's filling in for, what it's called, Lamar Jackson the past 2 seasons. And, I mean, he made the Pro Bowl last year, but as a passer, arm talent is really not there. I mean, he can hit the underneath throws, he has some decent anticipation, but his footwork was really sloppy. He does turn over the football. Can run the football well, though. I'll give him that. He can run the football, but overall, he's just not that great. And, I mean, Packer presence is good, too, but, like, he's just not that great. Yeah, like, that's what I got. He's not the worst. He's a good backup, but, like, you don't want to see him starting. And, again, Lamar, of course, he's gotten hurt the past 2 seasons, but he definitely had a better season passing last year, for sure. Definitely a lot more explosive. He would have ran for more yards than Justin Fields, which is saying a lot. But I do think Lamar definitely is going to be just as explosive. But in my opinion, I definitely think this season he'll definitely boost those numbers up. And if he can, I think he'll actually be able to stay healthy the whole season, because he won't be running the ball 100. I mean, he actually is going to, I don't think he's going to run the ball a ton this year. He'll still run the ball like for a good amount of yards. Maybe not 1,000, but close to it. And for sure, honestly, I think he's going to run for more touchdowns. But this offense is going to be a lot more pass-centric, in my opinion. So I do expect Lamar to throw for a lot more yards. And maybe the interceptions go up a couple, but I don't think it's going to be crazy high. Like, probably like 20, around 10 interceptions. And maybe 30 touchdowns, but I actually expect him to run for a couple more this season at least. He's actually not been the most, like, if you think about it, he really hasn't ran for the most touchdowns. But he is the most explosive offensive player in the league, in my opinion. Still at this point, for a quarterback at least. Not, like, there are running backs and wide receivers who are, like, Tyreek Hill, some running backs who are, like, they can just absolutely just take over a game. But Lamar, outside of maybe Tyreek Hill, is probably the most explosive offensive player. Even more explosive than him in some ways. So, this is what I got for Lamar Jackson. Let's get right into the grade. Yeah, I get that Lamar does get hurt, and Tyler Huntley is not the greatest quarterback to have start, but as a backup, he's really not that bad. I mean, he's not good. Like, he's probably like a D+ starting quarterback, but decent backup. So, honestly, I still got to give him an A here. Lamar's just that good. I get, yeah, some people give him an A-, even a B+, because he's not a great thrower, but he's still a great runner. Honestly, I think he had his best, most impressive year running the football last year, because he just broke so many crazy runs. So, I got to give him an A. I know it's kind of the eye test and whatever there. But he's still throwing the ball well. I mean, he's not, again, not even close to the best. But just overall value, he's an A. I just got to do that. He's so important to this team, and he's just that good. It comes out to 15, 30, 45, 55 points for the quarterback position. Yes, I get, he's probably my 6th best quarterback, something like that. So, Yeah, maybe not top 5, but it's very close. A minus. I'm going to give him an A for now. Time for this running back core. All right, again, J.K. Dobbins, he's basically always hurt. You can't rely on him being a competent starter, but when he is healthy, he's on a PUP list. I mean, this is just not good. I'll just put it like that. But his training camp, so he should be on the field. But when J.K. Dobbins has been on the field, he has been the most efficient back in the league. The only problem is, again, he's never on the field. He actually breaks a lot more tackles than you'd expect. And if that knee finally gets back to healthy, he'll be able to blow past guys, too. J.K. Dobbins can be so good. Again, it is part of the offensive line of Lamar Jackson, but him and Lamar Jackson in the backfield are just, it's nasty. Okay, Gus Edwards, really good power back still. I mean, last year didn't look as explosive in any way, but still a very good back. Really hasn't, again, you can see a little bit of off the ACL, but he's still breaking tackles and getting first downs when he needs to. Gus Edwards is still a really good back. Justice Hill, I mean, he's okay, good gadget guy. I definitely expect him to take a little bit of a ramp up in the receiving game for sure this year, though. I would not be surprised if he actually leads his team for running back and catches. The only issue I have with him is he can't really improvise out of the backfield. If a play gets stuffed, he really is a low ceiling type of back. But again, all of them are efficient. And then Melvin Gordon, who was probably the worst back in the league last year. Again, he really hasn't been good since 2020, and that's being nice. I mean, yeah, he had a good start to the year in 2021, but towards the end was a little sour. But I guess he was good in 2020. Wasn't great, though. Yeah, hasn't really been great. Really good since 2020. So, in my opinion, I mean, Melvin Gordon's okay. No, he was just that bad last year. He's washed at this point at 30, but he's still on this team, I guess. So he'll probably get a couple carries. He's kind of like the Le'Veon Bell. Basically, they just sign a bum, and they have him on the roster. Like a really washed-up guy, and he's just there for like 5 weeks. Then they usually cut him. And at running back, I'm probably going to give their core a B. I mean, it's really injury-prone, but they usually figure out ways to get it done. And again, when J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards are healthy, it's a really, really good backfield. I just got to give them that. I mean, there's talent for sure there, and it's a pretty deep group. I mean, I get Melvin Gordon was terrible last year, but I'm really not that low on him as some people other people are, because it's really hard not to play well in the Ravens running system. I get could be a little different this year, but just the way it is, I'll give it a B minus. I'll give it a B minus because they're just never healthy. But if J.K. Dobbins can finally stay healthy this year and they give him a full workload, which they won't, but if they did, he could be like he could honestly make a Pro Bowl. So I don't know. I gotta give him a B minus because the guy's just never healthy, and I don't know. I just don't. Again, they were good last year, but they just weren't. They literally just haven't been healthy, and they just didn't look the same either. So that comes out to, what is that, 9, 18, 21 points for that running back room. Time for the wide receiver core. All right, looking at this receiving core, first off, Rashad Bateman. I mean, it's kind of simple with him. He has not stayed healthy at all. Last year, he played 7 games. Rookie season, he played 12 games. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, his rookie year was kind of underwhelming, but he did show some flashes. Last year, he finally broke out with some big plays. But again, he just can't stay healthy. If he finally stays healthy this year, I mean, he could be good. But at this point, he's been kind of a disappointment. I mean, he's literally played 19 games in 2 years. That's just not good. Odell now, so Odell's a little different. Obviously, he tore his ACL. Didn't play all last year. He wasn't good on the Browns in 2021. Finally played well with the Rams. Really, just hasn't been like really, really good. I mean, he was good with the Rams, but he wasn't like really, really good. He would have won Super Bowl MVP, but he hasn't been really, really good since like 2018, and even then, probably 2016. But he still should be solid at least. I'm not going to say a little bit above average. The reason they don't have him playing probably the X and having starting out the Z is so he can really work on his releases and get that explosion back, which he probably won't have because he tore both his ACLs on both knees like 8 times. So yeah, but Zay Flowers, he'll be their slot guy, definitely their Y, but I expect him to use a lot in motion, maybe some jet sweeps as well. He's definitely an explosive player, but overall, he's probably going to be their most. He's outside of probably Mark Andrews. I mean, Rashad Bateman are going to be big parts of the team as well, obviously, but Zay Flowers, I'm not going to be surprised if he loses team in catches again, outside probably Mark Andrews. But Lamar, I do expect him and Zay Flowers to really grow something. If they don't, it's probably going to be like a Marquise Brown type of thing back in 2020. But either way, Devin Duvernay, I mean, he's good for a big play game. I mean, he's a good yak receiver. Actually showed a lot more possession last year when he was on the field. I do think Devin Duvernay is not a bad option. I mean, he's not the greatest overall receiver, but he does actually create some separation, and he has decent hands. I mean, he's nothing special. He's not going to like when you contest the catches or make a play for Lamar, but he can make some plays at least. Nelson Aguilar, brick hands, but again, he had that 1 year with the Eagles and then 1 year with the Raiders, but he's been pretty bad since then, the last 2 years, and he's old. James Brochet, really average, can't create separation, but he does make some catches. I'll give him that. Then, of course, Tylan Wallace, who is kind of a bum. I'm sorry. That's just what I got. I mean, in Oklahoma State, he got shut down by Oklahoma corners who had no business shutting him down. And, yeah, that's kind of what I got there. And even Laquan Treadwell was probably the biggest bust ever. Oh, yeah, and he did have that 1 year with Jacksonville. That's his best career year. He had 434 yards. But his total career numbers, 1,226 yards, are less than Cooper Kupp had in one. I mean, yeah, or less than some guys had. I think Cooper Kupp had, maybe not less. I think in 12 games, yeah. Whatever. All you need to know is Laquan Treadwell is a big bust. So, I just went through a lot of receivers there. Let's get right to the grade. I will say there is depth in this receiving core, finally, and it's a pretty good group, but there will be injuries, and I'm okay with that, though, because I'm going to say they got at least 5 receivers, maybe 6. So, I'm actually going to give it a B. It's not, like, good, but it's, it's solid. I'll give it solid, because it is a solid receiving core now, because, yeah, Isaiah Flowers is a rookie, but I think he's going to be the most reliable receiver as a rookie, at least, because JSN probably will be the most productive. Maybe, no, not the most productive, but the most, I don't know. He'll probably be the best, in my opinion, but back on Zay Flowers, I think he'll be the most reliable. So, that comes out to 918 and, 27? So, 24. That's what I got for the wide receiver core. Look out for some big bombs from Lamar to Zay Flowers. Time for the tight end position. And looking at the tight end position, yeah, Mark Andrews did get hurt a little last year, but he was on the field. He was same old, same old. Yeah, played 15 games again as well. Again, wasn't even close to the record-breaking year he had in 2021. He was Timothy in 2021, but last year, still really good. I still can't believe he had 10 touchdowns in 2019. But whatever. Mark Andrews is still an elite tight end, the 4th best in the league in my opinion still. Yeah, his blocking could be a little better, but it's okay, because you got an athletic freak in Isaiah Likely, who did take some catches away. He's another good tight end. I mean, it's pretty good. And they even have Charlie Kohler, who did start to he actually started to show his own in that final game where he got that start in Week 18. He looked really good against the Bengals in a game where the rest of the offense was basically a bunch of bumps. But Charlie Kohler had that one really good game at the end of the season. Actually played well in the wildcard game as well when he played. So I actually expect some stuff out of him this year. So look, again, he did struggle with injuries. So these 3 tight ends, the potential is so high. And, you already got 2 guys who are regarded as 2 of the better tight ends in the league. And even, like, Charlie Kohler could be that, too. And then Travis Bokenlick, I would be surprised if he ever gets that. He'd make this team. But they got 3 tight ends, and it's really good. Tight end room, I'll give it an A. I really freaking like it. Like, a lot. Yeah, they don't have, like, it's not insane, but I'm, like, over the moon with these, because I think Isaiah Likely is that good. I gotta give him an A. That comes out to, what is that? And even though it's tight end, so it doesn't matter too much. It comes out to 18, what is that? 6, 18, 22 points. It's just so good. Time for the offensive line. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the best fullback in the league, so I guess that goes in the tight end, too, because Patrick Reichard is a very important player to this team, really good run blocker, and can still put the ball in the end zone when he needs to, too. Didn't do it last year, but he can still do it. Oh, yeah, and he also can catch. But back to it on this offensive line. Ronnie Stanley has not been healthy for, I don't know. Let's look at his snap counts. Okay, let's look at Ronnie Stanley's snap counts right here. Okay, so in 2020, he played 6 games. He was good. Last year, he actually played 11, but he got hurt. He has had a bad season-ending injury the past 3 years. And he's actually gotten worse every year. Last year, he was better, I guess, than 2020. But he still wasn't crazy. But yeah, 70.9 PFF. He was decent. Wasn't elite by any means. He's still good. Didn't play it all until, and then, so he's still a really good player, but it's just 3 season-ending injuries. I don't know what else to say. He just can't stay healthy. But Patrick McCarry, jack of all trades, dude. Is he good at any position? He's probably, I don't know. Patrick McCarry is a really weird player because when he plays, his run blocking is just not good. But then again, his pass blocking is effective. And he can play basically every position on the offensive line. So, he's a valuable player for this team, even if he doesn't do what they need him to do all the time. Ben Cleveland is a decent player, I guess. I watch a little of him, but he just doesn't pop out to me at all. He's okay. John Simpson can't really block at all, but he still figures out a way to get on this team. Yeah, he's not the best. Could have worse backups, but he's not good. Tyler Linderbaum, really solid season as a rookie. I'm looking for him to really break out, like a Creed Humphrey type season this year. Very solid player. Get Patrick McCarry basically play everywhere on the offensive line. Sam Mustipher stinks. Yeah, that's kind of about it. Kevin Zeitler, he wasn't as good as he was in 2021, but he still was pretty solid. Yeah. Tayshaun Man, I don't know. I've struggled like with A.J. Terrell because A.J. Terrell was not that good last year, but Kevin Zeitler is still good. So, I mean, he's pretty darn good. Tayshaun Manning, they drafted UDFA out of Kentucky. I mean, he's just really not that athletic. But he does have some talent. I'll give him that, which doesn't really sound right. But he definitely struggles with really freakish athletic dudes. But he can shut down the power rushers. I'll give him that. Morgan Moses, I mean, he actually played well last year. Wait, did he? No, he actually played last year. He was actually good. Dan Falele, decent backup. That's kind of about it, though. I mean, Andrew Voorhees, he's okay. That's all I got there. Time for the roster of this offensive line. This offensive line is tricky because their depth is kind of mid, but they do have some good starters. There is some injury issues with the tackles because I do expect at least Patrick McCarry to have to start there. So overall, it's a weird group. I mean, the interior is pretty solid. The depth is mid. I don't know what to give it. It's weird because it's definitely a different offensive line than I'm used to. Again, the starters are usually it. Continuity is there. I don't know. It's a weird group. I'll give them a B-. Kevin Zeitler is really the only guy in that offensive line, and and Tyler Linder. I don't know. Do I give him a B? The injuries, though. I'll give him a B. They have a good offensive line. That comes out to 6, 12, 16 points. Time for the overall offensive grade. And this offense comes right in at a B+, which I think is fair because the real problem with the Ravens every single year and how their team's built, at least when Lamar's been here, it's been sustainability because they always get out hot. Someone on the offensive line gets hurt. Then either a running back or receiver gets hurt. Then it's just Lamar running the football and throwing to Mark Andrews, which means it's kind of one-dimensional. I don't know, they lose a game, maybe they win a game, but by their defense. And then it's just kind of a mess. I don't know what to say. Then Lamar gets hurt. That's what it's been like the past 2 years, honestly. And then maybe when an offensive lineman comes back, the running game gets better. Maybe they win a game. But it's really just been about sustainability for this team. They got to be able to keep that up. And if their offense is throwing the football around the yard, that running game can really show up when they need it to, not when they want it to, which is the beginning of the season. Because they need it at the end of the season. Because their defense can hold teams down. That's what we're going to get into next. But again, I do think this offense is a little different than it should be. But again, we just haven't seen them together yet. So that'll be back to the identity later. But let's get right into this defense. Oh boy. And looking at this linebacking core, you could argue it's the best in the league at this point. I'm not even kidding. First off, Roquan Smith. Honestly, the second best linebacker in the league. After last season, I will say he's probably not overall as good as what is it called? Oh yeah, I just lost his name. Oh yeah, Darius Leonard. But I will say this: with that in mind, I do think Darius Leonard is a better. I mean, not Darius Leonard. Shaq Leonard is definitely a better overall player, but he was injured last year, and Roquan Smith looked a lot better than he did in 2021, which I guess is saying something. But Roquan, don't get me confused. He's definitely not your pass covering linebacker. You got to realize that about him, but. If you take that out of the equation, he can play zone, really good playmaker, makes a ton of tackles, leader of your defense, very reliable. Again, second best linebacker in the league. But Patrick Queen obviously was relied on a lot last year in that zone coverage and those packages covering tight ends and running backs. But that stepped up big time. Had a good year. Wasn't good enough to the point where I think he could have definitely earned a contract. But this year, he's going to have to play his best football. Again, he was good last year. Just not great. He had 5 sacks. Again, coverage, he was relied on to do stuff, but in zone, he definitely struggled. I'll give him that. Defense, offensive, especially elite quarterbacks, especially against the Bills and games like that, he got carved up in zone. So, if he can improve in that and just be basically even better than he was last year, he will earn a fat contract in free agency. Again, they did draft Trent Simpson to basically replace Patrick Queen next year. He's picking up on everything, really getting better, and man, really athletic type of guy. Trent Simpson will be expected. Again, they did have a soft tissue issue, but I don't think it's to be the end of the world, though. Trent Simpson, I do expect to become a big-time pass coverage linebacker and really help his team out. Malik Harrison does come out there sometimes to tackle. He's good. Can stop the run. He's serviceable. Delshon Phillips sometimes on third down, but that's basically about it. They've got 4 solid linebackers, and I mean, pretty good group. The fact they don't have a bona fide zone safety, I guess Patrick Queen's good in man, but he was honestly kind of average, but that's kind of what you need. But whatever. They don't have a bona fide coverage linebacker, which you could say is a problem, but I'll give them an A. The depth is good. The starters are pretty darn good, too. I just mean Roquan Smith's so good. I got to give them an A. I mean, It's a really good linebacking core. Those 4 dudes, they all get it done. I gotta give them an A. You know what? Do I give him an A minus? No, I'll give him an A. So yeah, you know what? I'll give him an A minus because Trent Simpson's a rookie. Yeah, I'll be honest there. Patrick Queen's really good, but if they had just one more linebacker, I'd give them an A. I don't know. I think they probably should be an A at this point, but I just can't do it right now. 9, 18, 27, 30 points for that linebacking core. Time for the defensive line. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention they do running 3-4, so I only have to go through these due to this defensive line. Let's get right into it. Justin Matabuke was kind of average last year, in my opinion. Yeah, the 5.5 sacks, but his pressure was a little inconsistent, and he got shoved a little around in the run game. But I do think he can be better than this year. A lot of potential. He just got to be a little more consistent. He's still a good player though. Michael Pierce coming off injury. He'll probably be better than Travis Jones, who was very underwhelming last year. Just didn't really do a lot. He had that 1 sack, but that's kind of about it. Michael Pierce, he has been downright elite some years, but he kind of hasn't been here since just kind of hasn't been here since 2019 with the Ravens. 2021 just wasn't great in the 8 games he played, and again, really just hasn't played an action football since 2019. So I'll see what he can do. But he was elite last time I saw him. Broderick Washington, actually kind of a monster. A little different though. He is a little limited because he just doesn't have the speed or the finesse game yet to really become a good enough, at least at pass rusher. But he can get some pressure with power moves. And again, he did have 49 tackles. He can stuff the run. Again, Justin Matabuke is a little inconsistent, but again, he can get after the quarterback. Brent Urban isn't too bad, and same with Trey Botts. Trey Botts is like whatever, a UDFA. But it's a good group. Yeah, kind of. It's decent, but again, we just haven't seen Michael Pierce. I'll give this defensive line a B minus. They'll do their job. It's decent. Broderick Washington, as long as Justin Matabuke plays somewhat close to last year, and can just be more consistent, I think they'll be fine. It comes out to 6-12, 14 points. Time for the pass rush and these edge rushers. Alright, this pass rushing group is a little weak. First off, Odafe Oweh is going into a career season after having 5 sacks and a really bright, promising rookie season. He stunk last year. He just wasn't very good. Only 3 sacks, yes, but you watch him on tape, he could not get off blocks in the run game, number 1. And when he shed the blocks, it just wasn't in the right spot sometimes. He just struggled mightily last year. He's got to play a lot better this year, a lot better. Tyus Bowser, he got hurt, didn't he? Yeah, didn't play a lot last year, but he's been consistent his whole career. He's been a decent rotational pass rusher. In 2021, he was honestly probably the most consistent pressure type of dude off the edge, but got hurt last year. I don't know, limited athleticism there. I don't expect too much from him. Tavius Robinson, he's okay at Ole Miss, 4th round pick. Does have some pretty good power moves, and he's got a decent toolbox, but he's gonna definitely have to his toolbox is decent, but he's definitely gonna have to diversify how he uses his power moves because defensive line will just run him over in some points. Yeah, he's a big dude, but there's guys who are bigger in terms of off the edge. David Ojabo, again, he got towards his Achilles, but I do actually, honestly, it's weird with him because he's kind of a mystery, but he did look good on that 1 sack, but he hasn't really gotten to play a lot. Again, towards Achilles in the pre-draft process. Should have been probably a top 10 pick in my opinion. He was that good at Michigan. Again, really underrated type of dude, but I don't know what to expect from him this year. He's kind of a mystery, but if he can really play the way I think he can, maybe 10 sacks. I'm going to be honest here. He can really show up this year, but they really don't have a good consistent pass rush. Tyus Bowser's the one dude who's shown something, but that's literally it. The only good thing about this pass rush is they've got a defensive coordinator who can scheme stuff up, and they do have at least some depth, which I think is decent. But again, they just don't even have a number 2, a bona fide number 2 rusher. I do think David Ojabo could emerge as number 1. That's why I'll keep this pass rush at a C minus. But Tyus Bowser just came off a major injury. David Ojabo, I really don't know what to expect because again, he just played that 1 game last year. I have bright expectations, but I can't just be like, oh come on man, he sucked. I just can't. And then Odafe Oweh has just been it's been now or never from him. I'll give it a C because they've got some depth and they've got some potential, but they just don't have so much answers. Again, the interior should get some pressure though. You just can't throw on the number 1 or number 2. Honestly, do I give him a C minus? I'll give him a C minus. Comes out to 12, 16 points. Time for the cornerbacks. Alright, Marlon Humphrey shut everyone up with a really good year last year. I mean, man, he still wasn't as good as he was back in 2020 and 2019, but he was still pretty darn good. Definitely stepped up after a really mediocre 2021, where he obviously got hurt in Pittsburgh. But, yes, Marlon Humphrey is an elite corner again. That's what I got. Very, very good. His man coverage still isn't, like, at that rate. Yeah, isn't still up there yet. But, again, the way he played in zone, the way he shut down receivers, he's an elite corner. Rock Ya-Sin is so average. I don't want to see him. He's kind of overrated. Don't know why they picked him in the second round. I mean, he was not good with the Colts. Was decent with the Raiders last year when he played. But Rock Ya-Sin, he's okay. I mean, yeah, I don't like him, but I'll give him this. He's starting caliber. Demarion Williams is definitely an underrated dude. He played well last year out of Houston. I expect him to be a lot better this year. As a second-year player in the slot, do expect him to do some stuff. I mean, we'll even play the slot. He actually is kind of a stud, not going to lie. So, yeah, I expect him to play well. Jalen Armour-Davis is literally the definition of a toaster. Daryl Worley, he's bounced around a little. There's reasons for that. And then Kayvon Seymour, who's not good. I mean, he's just kind of a statue at this point. He's not very good. They've got three corners, and, like, Rock Ya-Sin's a decent slot, I guess, but Demarion Williams is really the only dude who I really, again, outside, again, obviously, Marlon Humphrey, but not a very deep cornerback room. I mean, yeah, Kayvon Seymour, they've got some experience, and, yeah, Jalen Armour-Davis has played, but they really only have three good corners. And looking at these corners, again, the depth isn't good, but I'll honestly give them a B. I mean, Marlon Humphrey is just that good. Do I give him a B+? No, I can't, because Rock Ya-Sin, I mean, he's a good slot, I guess, but the depth is just not very good. And again, they really have three corners. I'm sorry. And the way they played the past couple years, I can't ignore it. Like, Demarion Williams should be really good, but again, we just haven't seen enough of them. And then Rock Ya-Sin is just basically there to not get burned in the slot. 6, 12, 16 points. Time for the safeties. Alright, looking at the safeties. First off, Kyle Hamilton was probably the best player in the secondary as a rookie outside of Sauce Gardner and Tariq Woolen. He was, honestly, he might have been better. Again, the Ravens used him the role they expected him to. First off, cover tight ends and running backs in man and in zone when you need him to. He's not going to guard wide receivers. You just got to realize that. Coming in the NFL, they knew that. Again, people thought he could come out of college. Definitely not. You got to watch him on tape. Just not that. But they put him in the best position to see. He improved every single weekend. He did get burned by Tyreek Hill on that one play. But outside of that, he's really good. He's not your one-high guy. That's what Marcus Williams is. Kyle Hamilton, very, very good rookie season. I expect him to do the same thing this year. Marcus Williams, I mean, after that Stephon Diggs play, he's bounced back very nicely. Was one of the best one-high safeties in the league last year. Probably even more consistent than, what is it called? Minka, which is saying a lot, but I think it is true. So, yeah, he's really good. Brandon Stevens, Geno Stone, both very good backups. I mean, Geno Stone could definitely stand to be better in man, but he definitely makes a lot of plays. Helps a lot when Kyle Hamilton isn't on the field for whatever reason. And our Darius Washington, he's okay, too, in special teams. So, honestly, they got 5 safeties. It's a pretty darn good group. I'll give their safety room an A. I'm pretty good with that. They saw Chuck Clark would probably be an A+. It comes out to 9, 18, 27, 33 points, right? Yeah. Time for the overall defensive grade. So overall, their defense comes out to a C+, which I actually kind of get because this front seven, I mean, the linebackers are pretty good, but you know, yeah. So the linebackers in the safeties in this corner, so the secondary, so the coverage part of this team should be good. They're always good in run defense, which I don't know how that works, but it does. This defensive line is kind of the front four or the pass rush for a sense is really mid, but I think the identity will come back later. We'll get to that later, but I'll give them a B-. So it comes out to about a C+, but you know, I'll give them a B. Talent-wise, this is a pretty talented defense, but it's not as good as it was last year. It's still a B though, in my opinion. So it's a lot higher than these points indicate, but I do think they have a pretty talented defense, even if on paper it doesn't look like that overall. Time for the special teams unit. All right, Ravens special teams unit is basically the same thing every year. First off, Justin Tucker, best kicker ever. Jordan Stout, really good rookie season as a punter. Devin Duvernay, really solid returner. Tyler Ott, Pro Bowl, insane long snapper. I mean, there's nothing else to say. Of course, the special teams unit gets an A+. I mean, there's no other explanation. I mean, it's been the best in the league since Justin Tucker has become a Raven. It's really good. What is that? 15 points. Time for the overall team depth grade. Alright, Ravens quarterback depth. I'd probably give it a B. It's pretty good. I mean, it could be better, but it's not, again, it's not the worst. Running back, probably a B. I mean, they always figure it out usually. Wide receiver, probably a B+. I actually like their depth a lot more than people would think. Tight end, probably an A. It's really good. Offensive line depth, probably basically a C. I mean, I'll give it a C+. Overall offensive depth, probably a B. Honestly, wait, do I give them a B+? So I got to give them an A. B+. What was that, a B? No, I gave them like a, yeah, I gave them, yeah, B. So, you know what, the axe probably comes out to a B+. Their offense does get a B+ for their depth. Pretty good offensive depth. Defensively, linebacker depth, probably a B+. Just the fact that, again, Willie Harrison is kind of just there. So, I give it a B+. Defensive line depth, C+. Pass rush depth, C. Actually not too bad considering, again, they have guys who can get after quarterback, just not bona fide guys. Cornerbacks, probably like a C-. That's kind of generous too. So they, you know what? I'll give a C- because they actually got like they answers, just not very good answers. Safety depth, probably like a B+. I mean, they only have 4 guys. You know, I'll give them. I'll probably give them, you know, B+. You know, A-. So it's kind of all over the place, but I said their defense comes out to about a B, and I'm gonna say the Ravens depth probably comes out to a B as well. So. You say, oh yeah, the Ravens, oh, they're such a deep team. People do think they're one of the most deep teams in the, like, generally they're talked about as one of the most deep teams in the league. I don't see that. Here's why. Every single year the Ravens are tested with injuries. What happens? They don't have enough depth to get through it. It's just kind of how it is. Because the team has more, again, if they didn't lose Lamar, would it be different? Yeah. But think about it. When Lamar got, you know what? Do I give him a B+? Give him a B+. Yeah, they have really good depth. But it's not, it's a little overrated. I don't know. 12, 24, 36 points for their depth. Time for the identity. Alright, offensively, I have a pretty good idea what they're going to want to do. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot more than they have been. Again, the running game's going to be a lot more productive, I put it like. Their running game's going to be able to breathe. I wouldn't say it's going to be more productive, but it's to be able to breathe at least. Defensively, pretty much same old. I mean, they run a lot of stunts. Run a lot of, I mean, not as many blitzes, but they do run blitzes. They run a lot on their corners, playing man. Safeties are basically the backbone of the defense, and the linebackers are expected to make tackles and cover. So there is a lot of reliance in this defense, but if guys get hurt, they usually figure it out. I mean, last year was one of the best defenses in the league by the end of the year. I'd say their identity is an A. I mean, it's really good. Comes out to, what is that? 15, 30, 45, 55 points for their team identity. Time for the Ravens overall roster grade. The Ravens roster actually falls into an A-, which I'm honestly, I'll be fair. Do I give them an A-? Honestly, do I? Let's see. They've got good depth, really good identity, but that pass just isn't very good. I'll give them an A-. I think the Ravens actually have a really good roster. People aren't going to expect me to give them that, but they did improve. Last year, probably like a B+, but this year I'll give them an A-. Yeah, there are some things cracked, but the depth is, I think it's better than it has been, so I honestly think this Ravens team gets an A-. Like, just looking at the way it is right now, Ravens got a really good roster. I gotta give them an A-. I mean, it might be a little high, but I like that. So, 353 total points for you guys, an A- overall grade. Hope you guys enjoyed the Ravens 2023 roster grades. That's all I got for you guys. See you in the next one, and hope you guys enjoyed.
Straight completions now for Tannehill. And it's a bootleg run for Ryan Tannehill. Tannehill will take it all the way. Airborne for the touchdown.
Respect from his teammates. He's a head-first runner. Remember, at A&M, he was a wide receiver, and a good-sized one, too. That two-pointer he converted 2 weeks ago was outstanding. This one